Hello there, today we're reading fun Halloween stories. You'll hear 14 fun Halloween books filled with costumes, laughter, and trick-or-treat adventures. Ready? Let's get started. Where do diggers trick-or-treat? Where do diggers trick-or-treat after digging giant holes? Do they fill their scoops with chocolate treats like enormous candy bowls? Where do tractors trick-or-treat after chores in early morn? Does a pumpkin patch await them through a zigzag maze of corn? Where do recycling trucks trick-or-treat after cardboard fills their tummies? Does a roll of toilet paper help them become recycling mummies? Where do road rollers trick-or-treat after helping make roads wider? Do they squeeze the autumn apples to make steaming apple cider? Where do cranes trick-or-treat after hoisting things up high? Do they raise a ghastly ghost to fly across the moonlit sky? Where do monster trucks trick-or-treat after leaping through the air? They don't need to put on costumes. They're already dressed to scare. Where do drill rigs trick-or-treat after drilling on a hill? Do they drill a truck-o'-lantern to put on the windowsill? Where do flatbeds trick-or-treat after moving wood and steel? Do they haul a creepy castle as a haunted house mobile? Are there spider webs and candy corn and a scarecrow, maybe two? Is there spooky Halloween music and little trucks that shout out boo? Where do your trucks trick-or-treat? They can't wait for candy sharing. When the doorbell rings, surprise! See the costumes they are wearing. And that is the end of the story. Little Blue Truck's Halloween. Little Blue Truck and his good friend Toad are going to a party just down the road. Beep, beep, beep. Says Little Blue, it's Halloween, you come too. Who's that in a tutu striking a pose? Up on the tiniest tip of her toes? Under the mask, who do you see? Quack. Says the duck, it's me, it's me. Who's that clown with a big red nose? And a cap that jingles wherever he goes? Under the mask, who do you see? Bah! Says the sheep, it's me, it's me. Who's this queen with a golden crown? And sparkling jewels and a velvet gown? Under the mask, who do you see? Moo! Says the cow, it's me, it's me. What scraggly hair, what funny teeth, who is hiding underneath? Under the mask, who do you see? Oink! Says the pig, it's me, it's me. There's a fancy feather on the pirate's hat. Who's dressed up in a hat like that? Under the mask, who do you see? Cluck! Says the hen, it's me, it's me. A dragon's head and dragon wings. Who's that wearing those dragon things? Under the mask, who do you see? Neigh! Says the horse, it's me, it's me. Croak, says Toad, there's just one more. Has anyone seen this ghost before? Off comes the sheet, it's you know who. Little Blue Truck says beep, beep, boo. And that is the end of the story. Trick or treat, little critter. Halloween was coming. We had a lot to do to get ready. We went to the store to get our costumes and Halloween candy. There were Halloween decorations everywhere. We bought a glow-in-the-dark skeleton for our front door. There were lots of costumes. It was hard to choose. Dad picked out a creepy mask for himself. My baby brother didn't like the mask very much. So Dad chose a silly one instead. My sister and I picked out a bunny costume for our brother. Mom said, maybe next year. I tried on a cowboy costume, a green monster costume, and a pirate costume. I chose the pirate costume and a really cool bag for my candy. My sister chose a princess costume. I thought she looked silly. Dad said, she looks very pretty. The next day we went to a farm to get a pumpkin. We rode to the field on big hay truck. The hay made Dad sneeze a lot. I thought it was fun. There were pumpkins everywhere in the field. I found the perfect one. So did my sister. We had to draw straws. When we got home, we put the pumpkin on the table to make it into a jack-o'-lantern. But when Dad started cutting, my sister screamed, "Don't hurt my pumpkin." Dad drew a face on the pumpkin instead. My sister said, "It looks cute." I said, "It looks dumb." On Halloween Day, we had a party at school. We made masks out of paper bags. For the Halloween party, we had orange cupcakes and roasted pumpkin seeds and orange punch. Our teacher made a real jack-o'-lantern. As soon as it got dark on Halloween night, my sister and I put on our costumes. Dad put his mask on too. Dad took us trick-or-treating. The moon was spooky and there were ghosts and goblins everywhere. I saw a lot of my friends. There were some cool costumes. One of my friends even had a costume just like mine. At the last house on our block, I noticed a hole in my candy bag. Some of my stuff had fallen out. I think my dog found it. I started to cry. My sister said, "I'll share some of my candy with you." When we got home, we dumped all our candy on the floor and divided it up. Mom said, "I've never seen so much candy. If I'm really careful, I bet I can make my candy last all the way until next Halloween." Well, maybe. And that is the end of the story. Curious George, hooray for Halloween. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. One day, George and his friend, the man with the yellow hat, were on their way to a party at Mrs. Gray's house. George could not wait. He liked parties and he was looking forward to seeing Mrs. Gray. But when the door opened, George did not see Mrs. Gray at all. He saw a witch. "Don't be afraid, George," said the man with the yellow hat. "This witch is our friend." The witch took off her mask. It was Mrs. Gray after all. "Oh dear," she said. "Did I forget to tell you this was a costume party?" George had never been to a costume party before. Inside, he saw more people than he knew. They were all wearing costumes. There was his friend Betsy dressed up like an astronaut. And was that Bill? Why, he looked just like a mummy. George wanted to wear a costume too. "I have some dress-up clothes upstairs," said Mrs. Gray. "Would you like to use them to make a costume, George?" Mrs. Gray took George to a room with a big trunk filled with clothes. "Borrow anything you like, George," she said. "I have just the thing for your friend downstairs." George tried on lots of costumes. The first was too big. The next was too small. Another was too silly. And this one was too scary. At last, George found a costume that was just right. George was a rodeo cowboy. He wore a vest and pants with fringe. He even had a lasso and a hat. If only he could see himself in the mirror. George was curious. Could he see himself if he stood on the bed? No, he needed to jump higher. George bounced on the bed just a little, but still he couldn't see. He bounced a little more and a little more. Soon, George was having so much fun, he forgot all about looking in the mirror. He bounced as high as he could until... Crash! George bounced off the bed. He smashed into the night table and got tangled up in the tablecloth. Suddenly, everything went dark. George heard the people downstairs gasp. What was that? Was that a ghost? A ghost? George did not want to meet up with a ghost alone. He dashed out of the room and down the hall. He wanted to get back to his friend in a hurry, and he knew the fastest way. He hopped onto the stair rail and sailed, whoosh, down the stairs. "It is a ghost," someone screamed. Everyone turned. They looked scared, and they were looking at George. The ghost must be right behind him. George flew off the rail and landed, plop, in the arms of a farmer. But this wasn't really a farmer. It was his friend, the man with yellow hat. Soon, everyone stopped looking scared and started to laugh. "That's not a ghost." "That's a cowboy," laughed a policeman. "That's not a cowboy." "That's a monkey," giggled the princess. "That's not just any monkey," said Betsy. "It's Curious George." Everyone clapped and cheered. They liked George's Halloween trick. "You gave us a good scare," George, said Mrs. Gray, and I'm glad to see you found some interesting costumes. Now why don't I take your ghost outfit so you can join the party? After the guests bobbed for apples, lit jack-o'-lanterns, and played some party games, prizes for the best costumes were handed out. There was one prize for Betsy and one for Bill, and two for Curious George. You were the best ghost and the best cowboy, George, said Mrs. Gray. Everyone had a good time at the party, especially George. Too soon, it was time to say goodbye. Good night, George. Happy Halloween! And that is the end of the story. Franklin's Halloween. Franklin could count by twos and tie his shoes. He knew the days of the week, the months of the year, and the holidays in every season. Today was October 31st. It was Halloween. Franklin could hardly wait for tonight's costume party. Everyone would be there. Franklin and his friends had talked about the party for weeks. There would be games, prizes, and even a parade. Best of all, there would be a haunted house.
I think there'll be bats and spiders,
said Franklin. And skeletons, added Beaver. Rabbit shivered. My sister says she saw a real ghost in there last year. That's silly, Rabbit, said Beaver. There are no real ghosts. All of Franklin's friends were excited because of the costume contest. Franklin wasn't sure what he was going to wear. He'd tried on everything in his dress-up trunk, but nothing seemed quite right. Beaver and Goose were keeping their costume secret. Try to find us at the party, they giggled. Fox was also mysterious about what he was going to be. Look for something gruesome, he said. That gave Franklin an idea. He would be something creepy. It took Franklin more than an hour to make his costume. As soon as it was done, he sneaked up behind his father and tapped him on the shoulder.
Trick or treat,
said Franklin. Ah, gasped his father. Who are you? In his deepest, spookiest voice, Franklin answered. It's me, Frankenstein. On the way to town, Franklin tried to guess who was inside each costume.
At least I don't have to worry about finding Bear,
said Franklin.
He's always a ghost.
By the time Franklin and his parents arrived, the party had started. Franklin spotted a ghost at the apple bobbing and hurried towards him. Hello, Bear, Franklin said. Who? Answer the ghost.
That's good, Bear,
said Franklin.
You sound really scary.
Franklin bobbed for an apple. Then he ran to the pumpkin toss. It was his favorite game because he always won a treat. Franklin's bag was almost full by the time the judges announced the costume contest. While everyone lined up for the parade, Franklin tried to find more of his friends. He thought he recognized Beaver and Goose. But where was Fox? They marched around the building twice. Franklin made horrible monster sounds and shuffled with stiff, straight legs. He won a prize for being the best green monster. There was only one more thing to do, go into the haunted house. You first, said Beaver, pushing Franklin towards the door. It creaked open. A skeleton rattled chains, climbed, there were moans. Franklin stepped on something crunchy. Suddenly, a big hairy hand reached out of the darkness. Franklin's heart beat hard and fast. But before he could scream, a light was flicked on. Trick or treat, shouted Mr. Mole. Franklin looked around nervously. Then he laughed. The hairy hand was only Mr. Mole's mop. Here's a treat for braving the haunted house, said Mr. Mole. A ghost came before you. He got so scared he flew away.
But Bear can't fly,
said Franklin. It wasn't Bear, explained Mr. Mole. Bear is homesick with a nasty cold. Franklin shuddered. If Bear wasn't the ghost, then who was? He ran back to his friends, who were waiting in line for the haunted house. Was it that scary? Asked Fox. You look like you've seen a ghost,
Maybe I did.
said Franklin. He told them what Mr. Mole had said. You mean that bear was never here? Asked Beaver. Franklin shook his head. The ghost flew over them. It swooped low and called, "Who?" Rabbit twitched. So what is white, says who, and flies? A real ghost, answered Goose. Run. Franklin was about to follow when he saw a feather floating down. Stop, he shouted. I think I know who the ghost is. Franklin showed them the feather.
Look! It must be Mr. Owl.
Even Rabbit giggled when he realized the trick their teacher had played. By the end of the party, everyone's bag was full. Poor bear, said Raccoon. No treats for him,
We could share our treats with Bear.
suggested Franklin. All the friends agreed. They each put some treats into a bag. Then they walked to Bear's house and left the bag on the doorstep. Trick and treat, they called. On the way home, Franklin looked into his treat bag. Goodness, said his mother. You have enough there to last until next Halloween,
Maybe.
said Franklin, sampling a few. But secretly he hoped the treats would last until the end of the week. The end. Froggy's Halloween. For Froggy, Halloween meant candy. But it also meant dressing up. And he wondered, what should I be for Halloween? I know, cried Froggy, Super Frog. Flying high over the city, faster than a dragonfly, stronger than a bullfrog. No, something spooky. I know, cried Froggy, Ghost Frog. He poked 2 holes in his mother's best white sheet and draped it over his head. No, something scarier. I know, cried Froggy, Vampire Frog. He put on his black cape. Swoosh. Pulled on his mom's black tights. Zap. Put on his slick black wig. Zat. And said in his best Dracula voice, Flick or treat, smell my feet. Give me something good to eat. If you don't, I don't care. I'll pull down your underwear. Froggy. Called his mother, what? Halloween's not till next week. You're supposed to be doing your homework, dear. I'm Count Von Frogula, said Froggy. Vampire frogs don't do homework. Froggy's mother laughed. Vampires have fangs, she said. You're a toothless wonder. Oops, cried Froggy, covering his mouth. So all week at school, Froggy wondered, what should I be for Halloween? A football player? A cowboy? A zombie? Froggy, cried his teacher, Miss Witherspoon. What? Kindly keep your mind on your work, dear. But his mind was on Halloween. Every day after school, he got ready. He carved crazy pumpkins. He hung sticky spider webs all over the front of his house. He hung his mother's sheet like a ghost in the wind. And he practiced. Trick or treat, smell my feet. Give me something good to eat. If you don't, I don't care. I'll pull down your underwear. At last, it was the night before Halloween. And all through the house, there were creaking sounds and scratching sounds. Froggy was scared. He shivered in bed and imagined ghosts and goblins and werewolves and witches. Witches, zap. I know, cried Froggy. I'll be the Frog Prince for Halloween. And in the morning, he put on his black cape. Whoosh. Pulled on his mom's black tights. Put on his slick black wig. Zat. Plunked on a gold crown. Zunk. And flashed his mighty sword. Tada. At the Halloween parade at school, all the girls thought he looked cute. Especially Frogalina. And that night, when the dark crept in and all the ghosts and goblins crept out to trick or treat. Boo! Princess Frogalina leapt out and chased after the Frog Prince to give him a kiss. Eek! Cried Froggy. He was never more scared in his life. He leapfrogged over his mother. He leapfrogged over his father. He leapfrogged over his friend Max and flopped up Max's steps. Flop, flop, splat. He tripped on the porch. And Frogalina fell on top of him. The door flew open and there stood the wickedest witch in the world. Trick or treat, squeaked Froggy, looking more red in the face than green. Luckily, Frogalina ran away. And the witch turned out to be Max's granny. And that Halloween, Froggy got tons of candy. But his sword had torn a hole in his candy bag. And by the time he got home, his candy was all gone. "Oh, no!" cried Froggy. "What's the matter?" asked his mother. He showed her his empty bag. "Well, you're in luck," said his mother, holding up a full bowl. "I guess nobody liked my treats." And what do you think she gave him? Chocolate covered flies. "Yum!" cried Froggy. "My favorite. Munch, crunch, munch." And that is the end of the story. Paddington's Trick or Treat. One morning, the Browns were having breakfast when Paddington came in carrying Mrs. Bird's best broom and wearing what looked like a bin bag draped over his duffel coat. "I'm sorry I'm late," explained Paddington. "I was making my outfit for this evening." Mr. Brown gave a groan. "Of course, it's the 31st of October, Halloween." "We promised to take Paddington trick-or-treating," explained Jonathan. "Perhaps we could have a party afterwards," suggested Judy. "It seems a shame not to make the most of the evening." "I've never been to a Halloween party," said Paddington wistfully. "I don't think they have them in darkest Peru." Mrs. Brown caught her husband's eye. "We haven't had one for ages, Henry," she said. "It might be fun." "Please, Dad," chorused Jonathan and Judy. Mr. Brown weakened. "Perhaps a small one," he said. "Just for the family, but no more. It's bad enough as it is, with all those people ringing the front doorbell and calling trick or treat through the letterbox." "We can help get everything ready," offered Jonathan. "If I were you, Paddington," said Mrs. Bird, "I'd get down to the market as soon as possible before they run out of pumpkins. And if we're having a party, we need the ingredients to do some baking." "Don't forget some squashed fly biscuits," added Jonathan. "Oh, I don't like the sound of those," said Paddington. "Don't worry," explained Judy. "The proper name is Garibaldi biscuits. The currants in them look a bit like squashed flies." As soon as Paddington had set off with his list, Jonathan and Judy started making decorations and masks for their own outfits. "Very wise," said Mrs. Bird approvingly when she saw what they were up to. In her experience, Paddington and glue pots were best kept as far apart as possible. By the time Paddington got back from the market, Jonathan and Judy had almost finished decorating the house, so Jonathan suggested Paddington might look in the shed for some old pieces of frayed rope so that he could make a wig for his costume. After that, Mrs. Brown set to work hollowing out the pumpkins to make lanterns, while Paddington helped Mrs. Bird with some baking. Mrs. Bird even managed to find him a recipe for Garibaldi biscuits because Paddington hadn't found any in the market. He had to agree, the currants did look very like squashed flies. One way or another, everyone was kept busy. But if the first half of the day passed quickly, waiting for it to get dark seemed to take forever. In order to pass the time, Paddington retired to his bedroom to write some Halloween poems before putting on his costume. "I'm ready for the trick-or-treat part," he announced when he came back downstairs at long last. With the addition of a black pointed hat, everyone agreed Paddington made a very good witch indeed. The finishing touch was a set of fangs Judy had made for him out of some orange peel turned inside out. "I wouldn't like to meet you on a dark night," said Jonathan when they went out into the front garden. By the time they reached the end of Windsor Gardens, Paddington had collected so many treats he could hardly carry them all, so they decided to head for home. "We mustn't forget Mr. Curry," said Paddington. "Do you think that's wise?" asked Judy. "I've written a special poem for him," said Paddington. "I don't want to waste it." "You must like living dangerously," said Jonathan. "I don't suppose he'll recognize me in my outfit," said Paddington as he pressed Mr. Curry's bell. "Yes," barked the Brown's next-door neighbor as he opened the door a fraction and peered through the gap. "Who is it?" "Hurry, hurry, Mr. Curry," called Paddington, disguising his voice. "Give me a gift and I'll be swift." "Go away, Bear," exclaimed Mr. Curry. "Or shall I call the police?" "I'd better go now, Mr. Curry," Paddington called out. "We're having a Halloween party and I don't want to be late." A cunning gleam came into Mr. Curry's eyes. "Is that so, Bear?" he said. "I thought I saw you lot doing a lot of coming and going this morning." "There was a lot to get ready," said Paddington. "Mrs. Bird's very busy baking cakes." "It's very kind of you to invite me, Bear," said Mr. Curry, stepping outside. "That's torn it," whispered Jonathan to Judy. "Dad won't be very happy." Mr. Curry gazed round the Browns' living room as he made himself comfortable in Mr. Brown's favorite armchair and helped himself to some chocolates. Much to everyone's dismay, he looked set to stay for the rest of the evening. "Now, Bear," he said, "it's my turn. Seeing as you have kindly invited me to your party, I have a poem for you. Trick or treat, give me something else to eat." Mrs. Bird pursed her lip, but before she had time to say anything, Paddington jumped to his feet. "Don't worry, Mrs. Bird," he called as he hurried out of the room, "leave it to me." A few minutes later, Paddington returned carrying a plate of biscuits, which he offered to Mr. Curry. A nice day, these are very good," mumbled Mr. Curry through a mouthful of crumbs. "What are they?" "Oh, they're squashed fly biscuits, Mr. Curry," said Paddington. "I couldn't find any in the market, so I decided to make my own." Mr. Curry jumped to his feet. "Bear," he bellowed, clutching his stomach, "do you mean to say you've been feeding me dead insects?" "That's the very last time I accept an invitation to one of your parties." "Accept an invitation indeed," said Mrs. Bird as she led their uninvited guest into the hall. Moments later, the sound of a front door being slammed echoed around Windsor Gardens. "Well, it looks as though you've managed to play a trick on Mr. Curry after all," chuckled Mr. Brown. "Fancy him believing you'd use real flies in your biscuits. Now I suggest we all enjoy a bowl of Mrs. Bird's delicious pumpkin soup, and then I'd rather like to try one of your biscuits if Mr. Curry has left any for the rest of us." Afterwards, everyone voted it was the best Halloween party they'd had for a long time. "I hope you're not planning to eat that chocolate in bed," warned Mrs. Bird at the end of the evening as Paddington started to carry his bucket of treats upstairs. "Oh no, Mrs. Bird," said Paddington, "I was thinking I might send most of it to Aunt Lucy. I don't expect they get many treats in the home for retired bears." "Aren't you going to take your hat off, Paddington?" asked Mrs. Brown. "If you don't," said Mrs. Bird, "the glue may melt during the night and then you'll be stuck with it." Paddington considered the matter for a moment or two as he went upstairs. He felt very torn. "I suppose I'd better," he said, "otherwise I shan't be able to raise it if I meet someone I know when I'm out shopping. But if you don't mind, I'll take my lantern with me. It's been such a nice Halloween, I don't want to miss a minute of it." And that is the end of the story. The Berenstain Bears. Even little bears expect a good fright when they go out for treats on Halloween night. The sights and sounds of autumn were all around as Mama Bear pushed her shopping cart along the path that led to the Bear family's treehouse. Trees and shrubs were ablaze with color. Farmer Ben's pumpkins stood bright orange in the October sun. The crows cawed noisily as they searched the stubble for bits of corn. Wild geese in great V formations honked high in the sky as they flew south. But the surest sign of the season was inside the treehouse, hiding behind Papa Bear's easy chair. It was Brother Bear waiting to try out his Halloween costume on Mama. It wasn't Halloween yet, but brother and sister couldn't wait to try on their new costumes. Sister was going to be a beautiful ballerina. "Well, what do you think?" she asked, taking the third position. "Shoo," said brother. "Mama's coming." Brother had chosen to be a spooky monster on Halloween. He had bought the spookiest monster mask he could find, and Mama made the rest of the costume. "Boo!" he shouted as Mama came in with the groceries. "Help! A monster!" she cried, pretending to be frightened. "It's only me, Mama," he said, showing his face. "So it is," said Mama. "Well, that just goes to show that appearances can be deceiving." "Appearances can be deceiving? What's that mean?" asked sister. "It's just a grown-up way of saying that things aren't always what they look like," explained Mama as she unpacked the groceries. "Look, goodies," said brother. "Hands off, please," said Mama. "Those are for trick-or-treaters who come to our house tomorrow night." Brother and sister were very excited about Halloween, and a little nervous, too. This was the first year they would be going trick-or-treating without a grown-up along to supervise. "I'm not so sure I like the idea of them going by themselves," said Papa, as he carved the pumpkin he got from Farmer Ben. "It's pretty spooky out there," he added, making a scary face at the cubs. "Now, Papa," said Mama, "if brother and sister want to accept the challenge of going out on their own, I think we should encourage them. But remember," she continued, turning to the cubs, "there'll be strict rules. You'll stay in your own neighborhood, and you won't eat any of the treats until you're back home." "Besides," said brother, "we won't really be by ourselves. We made a trick-or-treat date with Cousin Freddie, Lizzie Bruin, and Queenie McBear." "There," said Papa, putting the finishing touches on the jack-o'-lantern. Then he lit a candle inside it and turned out all the lights. It was pretty scary. The next day, brother and sister began planning the trick-or-treat route they'd follow that night. Brother got a pencil and paper and made a map of the neighborhood. That way, he explained, they wouldn't miss anybody. "Let's see now," he said. "We'll stop at our houses first. Ours, Freddie's, Lizzie's, and Queenie's. Then we'll do Farmer Ben's and our sitters, Mrs. Grizzle." "Mrs. Grizzle for sure," agreed sister. "She usually makes special Halloween cookies. And Teacher Jane, she gives out good stuff." "How about Dr. Grizzly?" asked brother. "She's into health snacks." "I think so, just to be polite," said sis. "Gramps and Gran, of course. Of course." "I'll tell you one place we are going to miss," said brother, folding his map. "What place is that?" asked sister. "That one," he answered, pointing out the window at the home of old Ms. McGrizz. It was a spooky, twisted old treehouse in a thicket at the end of Crooked Lane. "We're definitely not going there," he added with a shiver. "Why ever not?" asked Mama, who was listening. "Why not?" said the cubs. "Because she's a witch, that's why not." "What utter nonsense!" protested Mama. "True, Ms. McGrizz is old and bent, and rather forbidding looking. But I can assure you she's a perfectly nice person." But the cubs didn't believe her. Not for a minute. They knew better. Everybody knew better. No doubt about it, Ms. McGrizz was a witch for sure. Just after dark, a pirate, a skeleton, and the wicked queen from Snow White came for brother and sister. They were Freddie, Lizzie, and Queenie, of course. And together, they ventured out into the darkness with their trick-or-treat bags. Before they could get started collecting Halloween goodies, they were joined by some worrisome company. Too Tall Grizzly and his gang, out for mischief. Too Tall didn't waste any time trying to get brother, sister, and their friends to go along with him and his gang. "Come on, we'll show you goodies how to have some real Halloween fun," he said, pulling brother along with him. "What sort of fun?" asked brother warily. "Ah, you might say we're going to put the trick back in trick or treat," he said, chuckling. It was so dark that Brother and the others didn't notice where they were heading. "Hey," said Sister. "This is Crooked Lane." "That's right," said Too Tall. "We're going to play a few tricks on old Witch McGrizz." "What sort of tricks?" asked Brother. Her gnarled, twisted old treehouse loomed ahead. "First," whispered Too Tall, taking a roll of toilet paper from his jacket, "we'll decorate her house with a little of this. Then, maybe we'll tie a few knots in her clothesline. Then, smear some honey on her broomstick so she'll stick to it when she tries to fly." But before Too Tall and his gang could start their mischief, the front door opened and a bright yellow light stabbed the darkness. And there in the doorway stood the frightening figure of old Miss McGrizz. "Aha," she said in a gravelly voice. "I'm ready for you." She then led the terrified cubs into a cozy living room. To their great surprise, there was a big tray of beautiful candy apples all prepared for Halloween visitors. "Mama was right," whispered Sister to Brother. "Miss McGrizz really is a sweet, kind old person." The cubs thanked her for the beautiful apples and went about the rest of their trick-or-treat business. Later that evening, Brother and Sister were at home, looking over all the treats they had collected. The beautiful candy apples stood out, and Papa asked where they came from. "From Miss McGrizz," answered Brother. "From that scary-looking old grouch puss that lives down Crooked Lane," said Papa. "That's right," said Brother, taking a delicious bite of his candy apple. "You must really try to remember, Papa," said Sister, giving her apple a little lick. Appearances can be quite deceiving. And that is the end of the story. Mickey's Halloween treat. Super cheers! We're invited to a Halloween party. Would you like to come along? The party will be at Pete's Trick-or-Treat Tower. Let's find the tower using our Muska spotter. Hot dog. There it is. Look, it's Toodles with some Muska tools. We're ready to go, but Goofy's costume needs a shield. Which Muska tool could he use? The garbage can lid. That's right. We have to go through the woods, but it sure is foggy. What does Toodles have that could help us see through the fog? The jack-o'-lantern. We made it to Pete's tower. Uh-oh. Goofy dropped his shield. What tool will help us get the shield back? That's right. The magnet. There's Pete. He wants to see a magic trick before the party, but the only Muska tool left is a carrot. Abracabunny. The carrot got a rabbit to come out of Mickey's hat. It's time for the party, but where is Pete's costume? I've got an idea, says Mickey. Let's all give Pete a piece of our costumes. Pete looks great in his costume. What a hot dog day. Happy Halloween, everybody. And that is the end of the story. Halloween is coming. Look around, you'll see the signs, getting dark at dinner time. Leaves are falling on the lawn, spiders spinning, webs till dawn. Feel the chill, it's in the air, hay rides at the autumn fair. Look around, the signs are clear, Halloween is getting near. Pumpkins at the farmer's market, jack-o'-lantern when we carve it. Scarecrows lurking all about, corn mazes to figure out. A time of year when we can play on castles made from bales of hay. Look around, the signs are clear. Halloween is getting near. Mom buys candy at the store. Skeletons on your front door. Candy apples, sticky sweet. Practice shouting, trick or treat. Marching in the school parade. In frightening costumes that we've made. Look around, the signs are clear. Halloween is getting near. Full moon peeking through the clouds. Streets are filled with costumed crowds. This special night when you can be anything you want to be. Cowboys, soldiers, witches, doctors. Ghosts and goblins, queens and rock stars. Wizards, astronauts and farmers. Zombies, robots, knights in armor. Prince and princess, clown and mime. Mummy, Wolfman, Frankenstein. Be anything, be what you want. There's always one more house to haunt. It's tricks and treats and frights and fun and spooky things for everyone. Look around, the signs are clear. Halloween is finally here. Happy Halloween! The end. Halloween Hustle by Charlotte Gunnifson. You're invited to a fabulous Halloween party. Hosted by Ghost. Midnight, October 31st, 1313 Shady Lane. Dance contest. In the dark, a funky beat. Something white with bony feet. Skeleton dancing up the street, doing the Halloween hustle. Bony thumbs and fingers snap, bony heels and toes tip-tap, knees knock-knock and elbows flap, doing the Halloween hustle. Skeleton twists his skinny hips, shakes his shoulders, skates and skips on a crooked crack, he trips. Bones scatter, what a clatter. Spine is like a broken ladder. He sticks his bones back into place, adds rubber bands just in case, gets up and grooves with foolish grace, doing the Halloween hustle. He swings around the bus stop sign once, twice, then gets in line, right behind Frankenstein, doing the Halloween hustle. Climbs on the bus, can't find a seat. That's okay, he finds the beat, shuffles and scuffles those bony feet, doing the Halloween hustle. The big bus zigzags through the town, zooms up hills, then cruises down. Every monster for miles around is doing the Halloween hustle. The bus slows down and then it stops. Skeleton leaves with 3 high hops, leads the others to the shops, doing the Halloween hustle. Skeleton buys a snazzy hat, a jazzy jacket to go with that, but in his path, a big black cat. Bones scatter, what a clatter. Spine is like a broken ladder. Skeleton doesn't groan or whine, finds his bones with tape and twine. He bounces up, feeling fine, doing the Halloween hustle. In fancy clothes, the monsters go to the party in a row. Funky, freaky fashion show, doing the Halloween hustle. The ghostly host greets each guest. How do you do? You're so well dressed, just in time for the dance contest, doing the Halloween hustle. Monsters move on through the door, jump and jive out on the floor. Spooky judges hold up scores for doing the Halloween hustle. Skeleton shimmies, swings and sways, bebops as the music plays, but zombie's foot gets in the way. Bones scatter, what a clatter. Spine is like a broken ladder. A skeleton girl with a friendly smile, sweeps the bones up in a pile. Skeleton, hey, in just a while, you'll do the Halloween hustle. She uses a bottle of super strong glue. You're fixed forever, you're just like new. Hey, I'd like to dance with you. Let's do the Halloween hustle. All the monsters cheer and clap, bony thumbs and fingers snap, bony heels and toes tip-tap, doing the Halloween hustle. And that is the end of the story. Bonaparte falls apart. Bonaparte was falling to pieces, and this really shook him up. Especially when he rode his bike. Or played catch. Or visited the doctor's office. Sometimes his bones rolled away, and it took him forever to find them. What will happen when school starts? Bonaparte asked his friends as his hand clacked to the sidewalk. I'm falling apart, everyone will make fun of me. I have an idea, said Frankenstein, clicking Bonaparte's hand into place. Let's glue and screw your bones together. So Frankenstein glued and screwed. And screwed and glued. But when he was finished, Bonaparte couldn't move. I can't walk, he said. Frankenstein had to undo all his hard work. I have another idea, said Blacky Widow. I'll spin and pin a web around you. So Blacky Widow spinned and pinned and pinned and spinned. But when she was finished, Bonaparte was all tangled up. I'm a mess, he said. Blacky Widow had to undo all her hard work. I have the best idea of all, said Mama Kula. I'll wrap and strap your bones in place. So Mama Kula wrapped and strapped and strapped and wrapped, but when he was finished, Bonaparte couldn't see. Where is everybody? He asked in a muffled voice. Mama Kula had to undo all his hard work. Time passed and Bonaparte was so worried about school that his head fell off. Frankenstein picked it up and set it back in place. Before school starts, we will bone up on other ideas, he said. We will leave no bone unturned, said Blacky Widow. No bones about it, said Mamikula. But none of the ideas they came up with seemed just right. Until a dog ran by with a bone in his mouth. That bone lever would be perfect for Bonaparte, said Mama Kula. And so they ran after the dog. Anne brought him to Bonaparte. What a fetching dog, Bonaparte exclaimed. You can teach him to retrieve your bones, said Frankenstein. Bonanza, said Bonaparte, you are my bona fide friends. He named the dog Mandible and he spent the next 2 weeks training him. When school started, Bonaparte was still a little worried about what the other kids might think. But Bonaparte was a home-running hit at recess, a jaw-dropping sensation at lunch, and a rib-tickling wonder in science class. Bonaparte could hang loose without anyone making fun of him, and this made him very happy. Clickety-clack. And that's the end of the story. Lulu goes to witch school. It was the first day of witch school. Lulu Witch was happy and scared. Lulu could not eat her frosting snake flakes. She felt as if bats were inside her tummy. Lulu got a new broom and her Dracula lunchbox. Mama Witch kissed Lulu Witch. Lulu Witch walked school as fast as she could. She did not want to be late. A big witch stood outside the school.
Hello, I'm Miss Slime.
She said. Miss Slime had a long nose and a wart on her chin. Miss Slime was very pretty. Miss Slime took Lulu to her classroom and showed Lulu her cubbyhole.
You can put your broom and your lunchbox here.
Miss Slime said. Lulu sat down at the big table. A little witch with curly hair sat next to her.
Hello, I'm Lulu Witch,
said Lulu.
Hello, I'm Sandy Witch,
said the little witch with curly hair.
Do you have your own magic wand? No,
said Lulu Witch.
I do,
said Sandy Witch.
Do you have your own black cat? Not yet,
said Lulu Witch.
I do,
said Sandy Witch.
Do you have your own broom?
asked Lulu Witch.
Of course,
said Sandy Witch.
I got my first broom when I was 3.
Miss Slime was standing in front of the class. So Lulu Witch and Sandy Witch stopped talking. Firstly, sang a song called Happy Witches Are We. Sandy Witch already knew the words. Then they drew pictures. Sandy Witch's picture was so good, Miss Slime put it on the wall. At snack time, Sandy Witch got to pass out the list of cookies. After that, Miss Slime told the little witches to get their brooms. She was going to show them how to fly. Miss Slime and all the little witches went out into the graveyard. One by one the little witches tried to fly with their brooms. One witch fell off right away. One little witch bumped into a tree. One little witch wobbled up and down. At last it was Lulu's turn. Up, up, up she flew. She did not wobble. She did not bump into anything. She even flew backward all the way down.
Very good, Lulu,
said Miss Slime. Lulu Witch smiled. Miss Slime was proud of her. Then it was Sandy Witch's turn. Sandy Witch flew backward. Sandy Witch flew upside down. Sandy Witch flew in a loop-a-loop. Sandy Witch even flew with no hands. When Lulu Witch got home, Mama Witch asked,
How was witch school?
I like my teacher,
said Lulu.
but I do not like one witch in my class. She is the best at everything.
Maybe you will like her better tomorrow,
said Mama Witch. Lulu did not like Sandy Witch any better the next day. At lunch Sandy Witch said,
Your liver sandwich looks rotten.
It does not.
Said Lulu Witch.
It tastes good.
Sandy Witch held a nose. Another little witch held her nose too. That night Mama Witch asked,
How was school?
I still do not like that witch,
said Lulu Witch.
She is mean.
Don't look so mad,
said Mama Witch.
Come and see. I made a new dress for you.
Mama Witch held up the dress. It was gray with spiders on it.
Thank you, Mama,
said Lulu Witch.
I will wear it to witch school tomorrow.
The next morning, Miss Slime said,
That is a very pretty dress.
Thank you,
said Lulu Witch. Then Miss Slime told the class.
Now I will teach you how to spell.
Hooray, cried the little witches. Sandy Witch put up a hand.
I can spell already,
she said.
Will you show the class?
Asked Miss Slime. Sandy Witch stood up. She got out her magic wand.
First you close your eyes,
said Sandy Witch.
then you wave your magic wand and then you say the magic words.
Sandy Witch looked right at Luna Witch. Then she closed her eyes. She waved her magic wand and said,
Lucas Pocus Watercress. Watch me change old Lulu's dress.
All of a sudden Lulu Witch felt something go pop. She looked down at her new dress. Oh no, Sandy Witch had changed the spiders into flowers. Her new dress looked so ugly now. Miss Slime saw that Luna Witch was mad. She made Sandy Witch change the flowers back into spiders. But Lulu was still mad.
I can't stand that little witch,
Lulu told her mother. She wished she never had to see Sandy Witch again. The next day Lulu woke up. Her head hurt, her eyes did too. She went to the mirror.
Sneaky snake gut,
she shouted. There were big spots all over her face. Lulu ran to find Mama Witch.
I bet that mean old Sandy Witch put another spell on me.
No dear,
said Mama Witch.
I'm afraid you have lizard pox. You cannot go to witch school today.
Mama Witch made Lulu Witch get back into bed. Lulu was glad. Mama Witch brought Lulu Witch a big bowl of dragon noodle soup. It made Lulu feel better. Mama Witch read a nice scary story to her. The next day Lulu drew pictures and did puzzles. Was she glad not to see Sandy Witch? The day after that Lulu wanted to fly her broom outside.
No dear,
said Mama Witch.
you must stay in the house.
But there is nothing to do.
Lulu Witch said. She wondered what Miss Slime and the little witches were doing at witch school. The next day Mama Witch let Lulu Witch go back to witch school. Lulu was happy. Lulu walked to witch school as fast as she could. She knew Sandy Witch was going to make fun of her spots. So what? If the other little witches laughed, Lulu would going to laugh too.
Welcome back,
said Miss Slime.
we missed you.
Lulu sat down at a big table. Where was Sandy Witch? Lulu did not see her. Then Sandy Witch came in the door. There were spots all over her face.
You have
lizard
lizard
pox.
pox.
Lulu Witch and Sandy Witch shouted at the same time.
You look funny,
Said Sandy Witch.
You do too.
Said Lulu Witch. They both laughed, ha ha ha.
I bet I have more spots than you.
Said Sandy Witch.
We will count and see.
Said Lulu Witch. Lulu Witch counted the spots on Sandy Witch's face. There were 67. And Sandy Witch counted Lulu's spots. There were 69.
You win,
Said Sandy Witch. Lulu smiled. The end. The good, the bad, and the spooky. I'm in a bad mood. A bad mood. Oh yeah, it's true. You want to know why I'm feeling so crummy right now? Huh? Do you? Well, it's Halloween, which is my favorite holiday. I wait all year for this very evening. But listen to this. I don't have a costume yet. Look around. Nothing works. What a travesty. Arf. I promise I didn't wait until the last minute. I've been thinking about costumes for weeks, and I honestly gave it my best shot. For instance, I've already tried dressing up as a ghost. I can't see. Bonk. And a vampire. I can't talk. And a robot. I can't move. Everything looks so uninspiring. It turns out that putting together a perfect, original, show-stopping costume is basically impossible. Halloween used to be so much fun. My friends and I would all get dressed up together. Oh, the memories. One year, we were a rock and roll band. The next year, we went as our favorite condiments. Oh, and then there was the time we went as a carton of eggs. We were cracking up all night. But things changed. As they often do, time marched on. We all got a little older. A little more independent. And I just can't shake the feeling that everybody, and I mean everybody, is going to outdress me this year. After all, I live on a sunflower, in a field, where everyone takes Halloween very seriously. Very seriously. You have no idea. No idea. See? How can I compete with that? And that. And that. And what the heck is that? I just can't stand it. And that's why I'm in a bad mood. A bad mood. With a bad attitude. Sheesh. There's only one thing I can think of that will even things out. I need to trick everybody into thinking Halloween has been postponed until tomorrow night. Yeah. Then I'll have a bit more time to get my costume together. Excuse me. Out of my way, please. Coming through. Hey. Pardon me. Seat on a mission here. Attention everybody. Let's see. There's a big thunderstorm on the way. That's right. Storm. Storm. And also, squirrels. A herd of seed-eating squirrels is racing toward us. Yikes. Watch out. Squirrels and rain and thunder. Not a good combination. So, for your safety, please head home this instant. We'll resume Halloween tomorrow night. Gosh. That sounds spooky. Bummer. There. That should do it. No more competition. No more hurt feelings. And most importantly, no more costumes. What a relief. I beg your pardon. Yes, what is it? If I may be so bold, it seems like you're not enjoying yourself this evening. As a fellow seed, in fact, as a pumpkin seed, I know all about the pressures of Halloween. But listen. Halloween is about more than costumes and candies, Mr. Seed. It's about crunching through the autumn leaves. It's about decorations. It's about togetherness. And it's about community. Look around. This is all supposed to be fun. But nobody really cares what you're wearing. We're just here to have a good time. Look at us. We made these costumes in about 5 minutes, and we're having a blast. Just something to think about. Goodbye, Mr. Seed. Sheesh. Is it possible that I've overreacted? Have I made too big of a deal out of something trivial? I suppose I've been taking my bad mood out on everybody else today. Maybe nobody's really paying attention to my costume. Perhaps Halloween doesn't need to be a competition after all. Huh. Gulp. I've made a big mistake. But maybe it's not too late. Attention, everybody. Me again. And I have some good news. Halloween is back on. There is no storm after all. And there are no squirrels barreling toward us. This was all a big trick. Get it? Haha. You may continue getting treats now. Yay! Hooray! It's candy time. Ahem. I've made a big decision. I'm going to worry less about things that don't really matter. Not just on Halloween, but on other days too. I just needed somebody to talk some sense into me. Now, I'm not in such a bad mood anymore. And I don't have such a bad attitude anymore. As for my costume, well, I'll figure something out. Later that same Halloween evening. Hello again. Check it out. I'm a squirrel. Pretty spooky, right? Boo. And, if you have the space, I'd love to join you. Of course. You see? It doesn't take much to have a good time on Halloween. Well, Mr. Seed, I'm glad you finally got into the spirit of Halloween. And we haven't even gotten to the best part of the night yet. Take a look around. Wow. Now this is a treat. A treat for everybody. Indeed, Mr. Seed. Indeed. Happy Halloween to us all. And that is the end of the story. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.